Kia ora koutou katoa. Many of you will know Rodin's The Thinker, created 177 years ago. 2017. This is me, Maru the Thinker. What I do is I think, I create, and I execute. And that is the same process I use when I develop games. It's very, very important that you make time to think. Fish and chips, my introduction to video games. At the age of 11 years old. Friday nights were takeaway nights. Mum would give me $2 to head up to the local fish and chip shop. Everyone needs kai. Kai for the tummy. Well, I needed kai for the mind as well. I'd order my fish and chips, and I'd put the change into the Spaces machine. I would play as long as a 20-cent piece would last. I didn't just enjoy playing games. I was just as curious about how they were made as well. I'd spend hours, well, sometimes depending on the change, looking at the screen and wondering how they made these games. When my game was over, I'd head home, and Mum would say to me, "What took you so long, and where's the change?" Fast forward a couple of years into high school, this time at Taita College, and I still enjoyed playing games. My first big achievement in high school was learning how to hack. Some of my fellow classmates were a little disinterested in education, like me. We spent as much time in the Spaces parlours as we did at school. We had no money to play these games, so we had to think of innovative, creative ways to get games for free. Enter the coat hanger, the kōtanga. A bit of twisting, a bit of squeezing, just manipulate the coat hanger a little bit, pop it into the money slot, twiddle it around, and voila, free credit. Wow, the benefit of innovation. The next thing was learning how to code, and this is where I did it. This is where I put my math skills to the test. You want to make free calls? Just tap the hook, the bit where you hang the receiver. So if this is the phone number you want to call, then you add the difference. That adds up to 10. So you'd tap on the little hook bit. If the number was 3, you'd tap in 7, until you got to the end of your number. "Hi, Mum, can you pick me up? I'm at Queensgate." Basically, anyone who can count can code. And here's the irony in all this learning. My lack of interest in school wasn't because I didn't want to learn. I was learning all the time, just not in school. I think it was about what we were being taught and how. I enjoyed science, technical drawing, the arts, and I thought I was quite good at those subjects. But unfortunately, my exam results didn't reflect that. So at the age of 15, I dropped out of school. I tried to get a job, and I was too young for the dole. My first job was working in an op shop, voluntary position. But I learnt some pretty good skills: customer service, cash handling. And so my career in retail and hospitality started, and that's where I stayed for 13 years. Cafes, restaurants, bars, nightclubs, from waitress to bar manager to restaurant owner. I picked up a husband and had 3 children along the way. And throughout those 13 years, I still played games. I had all of those machines and a couple more. In 2002, I decided I wanted to make games. So I went and retrained. I found a year-long multimedia course and started my journey into game development. Kia kaha, be brave. That's what I keep telling myself. Back yourself, because no one else will. In 2003, I set up my company, Meteor Interactive. I had no experience, no reputation, and very little knowledge around the game industry itself. So I took myself to where the market was, and it wasn't in New Zealand. I went to conferences mainly in the US. I listened to every talk and lecture there was. I had to overcome the shyness. I didn't know how to approach people. I wasn't sure about it. I knew if I couldn't break through that barrier, I was going nowhere fast. Also, I seemed to be only one of very few women at these conferences. It made network opportunities a little harder for me than for my male peers. I'd see a lot of guys crowding an executive, and I had to figure out how I was going to push through these crowds. I had to use a bit of strategy, and if I heard these executives had assistants, I'd target them. They were surprised I was a game designer, and they loved my New Zealand accent. It made an impression. And so it was them that got me the introductions. No more pushing through crowds. I'd figured out a better way to do it. But the whole experience was hard and lonely. If your strategy isn't working, find an alternative one. This is my mum. Now, this is where whānau and friend support is really important. My whānau questioned me. They asked me the hows, the whats. They gave me the encouragement, both moral and financial. My credit card was maxed. I was running out of money. Mum supported me greatly through this journey. She came to Auckland to look after my children when I was away overseas. She was the shoulder to cry on when things got tough. I had 2 years of no's, but I never had a no from my mother. I was on the brink of giving up. I had been at this for 2 years and hadn't had its success. Allow your whānau and friends to help. It's really important. You need the support. And keep on side with your mum and make sure she has a high credit card limit. I decided I was going to give it one last shot and pitch my ideas at an Australian Game Developers Conference. After 2 long days of pitching my first game prototype, I finally had a yes. At first, I didn't believe it. I heard the yeses before. But a couple of days after coming back to New Zealand, I had an email from the publisher with a contract attached. I sent it to my lawyer, and he asked me, "Do you want to make money, or do you want to get your foot in the door?" It was a typical publishing agreement that favoured the publisher. I decided to get my foot in the door. This is my first game, Cube. In late 2015, I was signed. I had the deal. I couldn't believe it. In 2006, we started developing Cube for the PlayStation Portable. Cube was published across 3 major territories: Japan, Europe, and North America, and in 5 different languages. It was a massive relief. My perseverance and my credit cards were paid off. A year after Cube was developed and published, I received a special award from the United Nations World Summit Awards. I'd learned to play the long game. I have now made a number of games since then, across multiple platforms and multiple genres, from puzzle-based games to e-therapy games. This game, Move, for Convita, was made to encourage people to exercise through the use of gaming and a Fitbit. It encouraged competition between workmates. Who was going to get to the top of the leaderboard first? Jamie's game was made for the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a little boy called Jamie who had leukemia. It was Jamie's wish to have a game built based on his character Alfie. My team and I volunteered all our time to this project. We made Jamie very happy. Sparks was my big breakthrough. Sparks is a game to help teenagers deal with their depression. Based on cognitive behavioural therapy, it went through clinical trials and was published in the British Medical Journal. Results showed that Sparks was just as effective as in-person counselling, but we could reach thousands. We could reach thousands of kids immediately. Sparks won 2 international awards, a United Nations World Summit Award and a UNESCO NetExplo Award. I learned you can do good as well as make money. This is our latest game. This is due out in a couple of weeks. Māori Power Wars, a Tower Defence casual pick-up and play game. Available in full te reo as well. And our new project, Guardian, my labour of love game, 14 years in the making. This character is Maya. She is the hero of the story. In the past, I have invested into the prototype and a film script, and I've taken this idea with me everywhere I have gone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to secure or attract any funding to develop it. So I took a break, I repackaged it, and I decided to try again. And last week, it was announced that my application for funding from the New Zealand Film Commission's Interactive Fund was successful. A big thank you to New Zealand Film Commission. They're going to help me bring this project to life. In 2016, I was awarded a New Zealand Order of Merit for services to gaming and mental health. In 2017, I received the MCV Xbox Women in Gaming Award for Innovator. These awards were totally unexpected. I was just doing what I was passionate about. I love this whole creative tech space. So where to now? What is the future of gaming and where am I heading? I'm currently doing my master's, I'm currently completing my master's at Tech Futures Lab, Masters in Technological Futures. From high school dropout to now doing a master's, I'm even considering doing my PhD. When I think back to my school days, it wasn't that I wasn't interested in education. I loved learning. I think it was more about what and how we were being taught. And this experience informs my next project, Tākaro. Tākaro is a game idea I came up with 2 years ago. Tākaro is an online platform that will teach coding concepts and systems thinking, which will encourage our young people into understanding technology. I've brought this project into my master's research. We just don't want our children to use technology, we want them to create it. So that's my story. I've learnt so much. I've learnt to be brave. I've learnt to overcome my shyness. I've learnt to accept help. I've learnt to value my thinking time. My story is about passion and self-belief. It's not unique. Anyone can do it. Find your passion, be brave, believe in yourself. Live your dream because you can. Kia ora.